A reading from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, beginning at the 13th verse. Now when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Then he strictly charged the disciples to tell no one that he was the Christ. There's an interesting thing in this passage. I'm not really going to talk an awful lot about the content of the passage, good as that is, but you know the Church of England, you know that we have this lectionary that revolves around year after year after year, so we'll be back to this passage again soon enough. But I want to see in it a process in Jesus' questioning of Peter that I think is instructive, that is helpful for us to observe. So the first question that he asks the disciples is, who do people say that the Son of Man is? This is a good first way to try and approach Christianity. What do people say about Jesus? You can go onto the internet and read and watch things there. You can pick up books and look at what's said within them. You can ask your friends or family members what they think about Jesus, who they think Jesus is. It's not a bad first step, but the problem is you can't end there. It may be a way in to this whole business of Christianity, but it doesn't take you all the way, which is why the second question is needed. So Jesus then goes on to ask Peter, "But who do you say that I am?" Well, that's the crucial thing, because it's one thing to say what other people think about Jesus, but in the end you have to come to your own conclusion. In the end you have to come to your own understanding of who Jesus is. You can't inherit Christianity. You can't catch it from your friends. It's something that has to take root inside you. Who do you think Jesus is? That's the most important question. Not who did your parents think he is, or who do your friends think he is? Who do you say that Jesus is? And so Jesus takes us from the general through to the particular. And Peter replies, "You are the Christ." And of course he's right. Jesus is the Messiah. Now at that stage, Peter didn't understand the fullness of who Jesus was. Well, we can forgive him that because he hadn't witnessed the resurrection by that stage. But he was able to go as far as he could, and he understood where so many others who should have known better missed, that Jesus is the Messiah, the one long hoped for in the Old Testament, the one on whom all the hopes of Israel rested. But there's a third saying of Jesus's in this passage, which I think is also hugely important. It needs to be held together with the others, and it's this. Jesus says, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." This brings us to the whole business of revelation. Because how did Peter know who Jesus was? Because God revealed Jesus to him. Peter could go so far, but God helped him to get the full, deeper understanding. This is why we have what theologians call the doctrine of revelation. It's because it's acknowledging that God needs to reveal himself and Christ to us, that God is beyond our understanding, so we need him to tell us who he is. Otherwise, we run the risk of trying to tell God who he is. We recreate God in our image. No. Other way round. God reveals himself to us. God shows us who he is. God tells us who he is, and we simply reveal that. And so we can understand who Jesus truly is. So we might take these three sayings of Jesus and use them as a way to explore Christianity. Yes, Ask others. Look for the witness of others. Who do people say that Jesus is? And then ask yourself the question, who do I say that Jesus is? Because who you say Jesus is the crucial thing. And as you're saying that, pray. Pray that God will reveal who Jesus is to you. God is faithful, and he will do it.